Good morning, students. I hope all you are well and fine. Today we are going to discuss about discovering thought. The saga continues. This is the third chapter of a Hornbill book, and this book is for 11th class CBSE English. So, before going to start this lesson, I would like to tell you about little background of Egypt and the Pharaoh. Because the story is telling about a great ruler, one who is known as Pharaoh, and the story is belong to Egypt. Okay, Egypt is also a very ancient civilization like India, and if we want to learn, so we can learn many things from Egypt, and previous we have learned also the culture of heritage that is very vast in Egypt. Anyway, I am not going to tell you the whole historical background, just I would like to tell you about Pharaoh. Pharaoh was the king of Egypt, and whatever name may be the person, one who comes and becomes as for the king of Egypt, so he is known as Pharaoh. After God, the second place is for Pharaoh. Sometime the people were thinking Pharaoh is a god. Okay, they were too much respecting to him, and the Pharaoh was getting too much respect by the people also. When Pharaoh dies, they do something different. They wouldn't burn the dead body, or they wouldn't bury that inside of the soil. So they placed it inside of a coffin box, and they put some chemicals and resins that the dead body would be fresh for several days. Okay, that was the ritual practice. They think Pharaoh never died, but he sleeps he sleeps. So that is why they have arranged his dead body like that ritual practice, and they put everything inside of the tomb what he likes, like food, wine, gold, jewelry, dress, everything. Okay, everything they put that inside of the tube, and the tube was, just like a pyramid. Pyramid, and you might have learned about pyramid and mummies. Especially, there is only one country who preserved the dead body. Okay, there was only one country. Several countries preserved, but they have not preserved like Egypt. In India also, you can go to Goa. There is a church, and in that church you can see the dead body of Francis. Still, it is just like live condition. Means there is no life, but the dead body is full of fresh. There is growing nails and there is growing hair also. Anyway, so that was their practice, and they don't want to disturb Pharaoh sleeping, and they put him into a tomb or into a pyramid, and where the pharaohs were placing, that is named as King's Valley. Okay, so Tutankhamun was the last leader of the great Pharaoh dynasty. Okay, he was the last ruler of the Pharaoh dynasty. He was young when he died. Some people say that his death was by murder. Okay, that was the belief of the people. In the year of 1922, his tomb was exposed, okay, by the Howard Carter. Howard Carter, he was the archaeologist, okay, and after 80 years, he was taken for the CT scan to solve the mystery of life and death through the forensic or reconstruction. Means Howard wanted to know how he was died and what about his life period and when he was alive and what thing happened there. So let us discuss about little bit about family background of King Tut or Pharaoh. His father or grandfather Amenhotep III was a very powerful pharaoh, ruled over a period of 40 years, not 1 or 2 years or not 10 years or 15 years, but almost 40 years he ruled to Egypt. After then we have seen, after his death, his son named Amenhotep IV, succeeded him or initiated the strange period in the history of Egypt. His name changed to Akhenaten, which means servant of Athens. He changed the religious city or religious capital from Thebes to Amarna. Later he attacked Amun, a god, ruined his image and shut the temples. Okay. Another mysterious ruler gripped him who died very soon. Tutankhamun sat on the power and ruled for 9 years. This Tutankhamun, finally, we will know his name is Tut. So, when Tut's mummified body was found, he had lots of gold and wealth. As I told you, when Pharaoh dies, the people put a lot of treasure inside of the tomb to respect him, okay, or to adore him. That was their ritual practice. Carter got him after so many years. Carter was searching his tomb, and finally, after so many years, he found the tomb of King Tut. After conducting the research on the treasure, he planned to examine 3 nested boxes. Okay, 3 nested boxes. Many parts of the treasure in the tomb were already misplaced. His tomb was found rock cut 26 feet under the ground, which also had some well paintings. You know, there is a ground and it was almost below 26 feet and where the mummy was kept. I gave you example in my class, and if any other person who is watching newly, okay, they may not understand that example what I gave in the class. So what happened there? The tomb also well painted. It reveals that the suppressed in the month of March or April. Whatever they have seen there, the garlands and some different things that was placed inside of the tomb. According to that way, they knew that. They knew that it was put inside of the coffin box or then put inside of the tomb month of March or April, because those flowers were only kept by the month of March or April in Egypt. According to that way, they guessed that that instead might be taken place in especially a month of March or April. One of the coffin put captor into trouble. Okay, coffin box was also very trouble for him. The gums used to paste taught the lawyer of the solid gold. Okay, so resins were put or inside of the coffin box, and that melted and became just like gum. And the coffin box was made of gold, and resins fully become tight. Okay, fully become tight. It was impossible to cast out the dead body from the coffin box. So that was also a very difficult moment for them. And the coffin was toughening enough that made it impossible to displace. Okay, it was very difficult to. It was not possible, and that was impossible to displace. He put the box in the sun for numerous hours so that the rest is loose of, but that didn't work. You know, he thought that if he would put the coffin box, on the sunshine, or the sunshine maybe melted to the resins or the gums, but that didn't happen there. Although that was very hot summer, you know, Egypt is also a hottest country. Even though that hot of the sun or that heat of the sun couldn't work there. At last he removed the adib with chisel and hammer. So finally he took chisel and hammer, and he used that cutter sensed he didn't have any other choice than cutting the mummy from line to line. Thieves would have robbed the gold and treasure. So because if they place that in a for many days, definitely some thief would come, and that they would steal the golds and rob the tomb. Because of that reason, for the examine, they have taken the dead body as part and part. They have made it part and part and cut off each of every joint. After the process of the removing all the body parts, they placed it in the layer of sand. Okay, when they took out the dead bodies by part, and they placed that on the sand, they kept the part of the wooden box and placed it the original place. Okay, where the body was, where the mummy was, they placed that into the same place after their researching. But something happened in the 2009 that we are going to look later. In January 2009, the body was taken for a CT scan, which takes hundreds of X-ray and generated 3D image. So finally in 2009, they have taken to that dead body, to that mummy, for their experiment to the X-ray center or to the CT scan, and they have done the CT scan there. That night after the scan, the workman passed his body from the tomb into the box. Okay, so after having the CT scan, they have put that into the box, and they put that inside of that particular place from where they have taken to the dead body of a daughter. When they put the body, or for a certain time, the CT scan machine stopped and the fan was not working. The cooling fan was not working, so that they might have thought that it is something strange experience, because that scanner was not ordinary scanner, that was something special scanner, and that was given by another special organization also. But finally, they thought they found there a small grain of the soil that put on the fan, and because of that region, the fan was stopped, and after cleaning out the fan, that started to moving, and finally they completed their research work. After completing their research work, they found many things, but they couldn't find the vestiges of his death. That was the end of the story. Or finally, they put together and a place where that was. So, in this story, what we learn, this is something historical background. If you read the book, so there is a lot of confusion. So you may not understand from where I have to start and where I have to close. The starting point is end of, and the family background is a middle part, and the incident of 1920 and 1922 was something first paragraph. So that is made the design just like a movie. Okay, sometimes in a movie we can see the last scene, something he remembered about for many years, things that we may see first time, or something the last thing will come first. Like the same way that the story has been prepared. Anyway, so I try to make you better understand. If you liked it, so please like button. If you want to write any comment, so you can write your comment also. Yet, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe my channel and put the like button and also comment. If you have any friends those who are studying in CBSE board, you can forward or you can share this video to them also, as they can get the benefit. Thank you. May God bless you.